welcome to Comforts of Home TV. We wanted to take you on a little tour of our property. It's early spring in March in the southeast, and across the street here you can see the Bradford pear trees are just now blossoming their beautiful white blossoms. I love to see when these come out. And that's a really pretty one, really big blooms, and you can spot them in the spring. You can see which ones are the Bradford pears by their beautiful white blossoms. And there's my husband checking on our wax myrtle trees, actually our wax myrtle bushes that we're trying to get a little screen here from the road of our fence. And we have some hollies next to them, and there's a wax myrtle. And we like the wax myrtles because they're supposed to grow fairly quickly, and they're year-round. They keep their leaves. And here are two that we planted about 4 years ago that have really bushed out nicely. And here is just a wild Bradford pear, or I'm not sure, it could be, I know there's also Cleveland pear trees, but this is a flowering pear tree that is just such a pretty indication that spring is finally here. And there it is. And such a pretty sunny day. Thought you'd like to see how this is the first real signs we're seeing of spring here. The first big blossoms coming out. And this is a little peach tree that wasn't doing so well, but we decided to hold on to it and see if it lives, and looks like it's got some blossoms on it. We're going to keep giving that a try. And here's our main peach tree. I love to see these. This is so exciting to see the pink peach blossoms come out. We hope to get some this year. It'll have a lot of blossoms and then just a few peaches come out and survive. So we're hoping each year, the more it matures, the more success we have with that. I love the close-up look. They're just so pretty to see right up close of how gorgeous this peach blossom is. And they're one of the first fruit trees to bloom in the spring. The apple tree we have here, I think it's a McIntosh apple, and that blooms later than the peach tree, of course. So no leaves on that yet. And we have a tiny plum tree that the deer have really attacked. The deer have just munched on that, and it's got tiny little signs of life, just little bitty buds, the promise of some blooms. So we're going to hang on to them and see if he can recover and see if we can. And here's a larger plum tree that it'll have some white blooms, and hope to get some fruit from that. Haven't gotten fruit yet from it. Maybe it hasn't been mature enough. See, there are the blooms. And what would spring be without a daffodil moment? I just love when I see my daffodils pop up. Absolutely gorgeous yellow. Reminds me of the morning sun, the truest sign that spring is actually here. And here are again some more apple trees that are still sleeping, and their time is a little bit later than the peach tree and some other trees that have begun to bloom. And this is a cherry tree here. Let's see, can we see anything? Oh yeah, very tiny little buds peeking through there. Here is one of our pear trees. These are so tall. These were one of the first trees we planted probably 5 years ago. And they grow so tall. Gonna have nice shade when all the leaves have poked through. They're the little buds. Little bitty buds right now. I'll have to show you when all their glorious flowers come out. a little bud with looks like some little leaves. Leaves wrapped up, dying to burst forth. And these are so pretty. I do love how tall they get. That's pretty tall to trim that down. And there you can see, yeah. And this usually produces quite a few pairs. So it's always exciting. Each year they become more mature to see how the fruit grows. And this is another little peach tree. Has pretty little blossoms on it. And this one's younger than our other peach tree. Looks considerably smaller, but still gorgeous pink blossoms. Look at that. And again, we get to see how many peaches we get from all these blossoms. And here is actually a Gala apple tree. My daughter planted 2 Gala seeds from an apple she had eaten about 4 years ago, and sure enough, they both sprouted into a tree. This one survived. The other one, we tried to plant it, and it was doing pretty well at first, but then about over a year ago, it just kind of stopped growing, but that one survived, so we'll show you what that looks like as it grows. And this is a wild, I'm not sure, it's like a red maple tree, but it's a maple and has its little blooms coming out on there. And here's my bee barn that I put up this past year, and we did have some visitors to it, some mason bees that come along and can make their home in these little tubes, these little bamboo tubes that are in here. And that's awesome because right across the way I have my garden, so I love to have this for all their pollination help. And here is our 3rd plum tree that, yep, still alive. It's little bitty blossoms about to burst forth. Some there, so the branches are looking nice. And it's just fun when you plant a tree, if it's a fruit tree, that it's just so awesome that and the older it gets, the more fruit it'll give you. It's just fun. It's just like a fun surprise. And this is about 3 or 4 years old. I can't remember exactly, but a red maple that we planted over on this side of our yard. And it's just so pretty in the fall when its leaves turn all red and it's growing to a nice size. Even though the deer have tried to rub the bark on the bottom, it seems to still be doing great, but it's just growing up so big and gorgeous. And this is so neat too. These apparently are called Quaker ladies. Oh, right there. These little bluets or Quaker ladies. I think that's so cute. Little tiny little purpley flowers that pop up in the first sign of spring also. And these I think are wild violets. Such a pretty purple that pop up with the little bluets Quaker ladies on the ground. And just love to see that again. And my first asparagus to come up this spring, and this is my 3rd year of having the asparagus, so I can cut them all I want this summer. And thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this tour of our yard and the blossoms.